You're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo podcast, your new favorite podcast for everything Bills and Sabres. What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo podcast. What the hell is so funny? Your favorite podcast for all things Bills and Sabres with your pals, Nigel, Tom, and Jake. Episode 68 on that, y'all. Quick reminder, folks, you know the drill. All the social medias. You can find us on all of them with the handle at Let's Go Buff. Jake, how many Fs?
2
Fs. Excellent. Like I said, on all of them, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Quick reminder about the YouTube stuff, folks. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you're not, get on a laptop and go and find the video. But if you're watching, please leave a like, drop a comment. The algorithm, folks, we're trying to figure out the algorithm. And we all decided at the beginning of this pod, we said, you know what? We're not above begging. So please, please, please go give us a hand. It only takes you a second. I know you know how to get to YouTube. You can find us with the same handle. Leave a like, leave a comment, even if it's not nice. It just helps. Let's say hey to my buddies. Tommy, what's going on, brother?
Happy Victory Monday to
Hey.
our
How
patron
about it?
saint Joshua Patrick Allen
Yes,
has
sir.
led us to the promised land, and boy, oh boy, is it sweet. I'm fantastic. I had a good day home with the fam. It was awesome, and I get to chat with my boys, so I'm good. I'm
we are
good.
Big fans of the promised land. Torpedo, what's going on, my guy?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, what a game yesterday. I'm battling through it, but I'm here. I'm ready to. This is the best part of my day so far. So
Hell yeah, dude.
let's get
We'll
into
take it. Alrighty, well, folks, we were just talking about the beer corner situation. Jake, did you have one?
I do.
You do? Okay, so once again, it's just me. I am the asshole. Folks, we're throwing it out to you, and I think I've even said this before, but my punishment is on y'all. Tom had a couple of good ideas, but I said, you know what? Let's throw it out to the peeps. You know, we get enough people that listen where if you hear this, we would love for you to suggest a punishment for me. Once again, not having a beer. Now,
Pop
it has to be
on YouTube and drop it in a comment.
I was just going to say, that's a great place to put a comment. Now, it needs to be safe, right? I'm not about to risk my life for y'all, but I'm willing to do something pretty stupid and foolish on here. So come up with a punishment for me, y'all. Boys, I'll give you a countdown. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Well
I even
done.
came up with another one. I think you have to add another 5 seconds to your "What's up" intro every beer you have it. So it's just like 20 seconds of you
That
just
would
holding a
be-
note.
I'd probably get winded, honestly. I'm not too active these days, so that might put me in the hospital. I'll get too tired.
Oh my
All right,
God.
fellas. Well, hell, we got some beers here, or at least you guys do. Wait a minute. Let's hear about those beers you're drinking. Sorry, I got too excited.
Yeah.
Let's
You're
go
ready
with
to
that.
roll over, Mr.
I know.
I
I'm
don't
so
drink beer
sorry.
anymore.
I know.
over here.
Whenever
Yeah.
I don't have one, I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
Tom, what do you got, bro?
I just got a cool one. This is a Rohrbach. It's a special edition lager made by Rohrbach for my family's part of the GYC there in Rochester, and it's the 90th anniversary lager they're celebrating, and it's freaking good. It's really good. I didn't even realize it was made by Rohrbach until I cracked one the other day. So it's
What
very
is
good.
that?
I'm
What's
super
the
excited.
GYC?
Genesee Yacht Club. So
Hell
there's
yeah, dude.
it's one of the couple yacht clubs in Rochester, and my folks have been part of it for a long time. And yeah, it's a big part of their lives. So they shared one with me.
Nice, dude. Excellent. Torpedo, what are you guzzling on there, my guy?
I got it's called a Tiffany lamp from my friends down the street here. It's a sour ale with vanilla, passion fruit, and mango.
Union Street.
Union Street. Yes, yes, sir.
Oh my God! Wait a second, Jake. Look in the camera for a moment.
Look at that.
So
Traveling far.
I may not have the beer, but I do have the Union Street Brewing hat. So
Hey, I think that counts for something.
That counts. I'll give myself a 4 out of 10 today for at least having the hat on. All right, boys. What do you say? Should we talk about some Bills football? Did the Bills do something cool yesterday, Tom? I'm not sure. I've been under a rock.
Oh yeah, they did. Yes,
me all
they
about
did. The Buffalo Bills handed the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss of the season. You're not getting out of Orchard Park without an L there, Patrick. Man, so good. They defeated them 30-21, excuse me. And boy, oh boy, was it just a satisfying game. It was everything you wanted out of this game of the Bills getting a win against the Chiefs. This is what you wanted it to look like. I honestly couldn't have scripted it any better. It was a tough game. The Chiefs are a good team. Holy shit, they're good. And they're gonna be a problem. And we're probably gonna see them again. But the Bills were ready. There were some things that we've seen out of this Bills team that that we have not seen out of this Bills team playing the Chiefs as of the last couple times. So it was cool to see the evolution of how they're approaching this game, and wow, just so good. I think eventually, I know we're going to throw it around the horn here, but I think we have to start with Josh Allen. We have to.
Yes, you do have to start with Josh Allen,
right? With literally the play of the year called by Jim Nantz on during the game, and it's just unbelievable. 4th and 2 within, I think we were just outside the red zone, and Josh Allen, we had the opportunity to kick a field goal, go up 5 with like a little over 2 minutes remaining. Sean McDermott has the testicular fortitude. Excuse me. I was really trying to make sure that I was pronounce that one correctly, and to go for it. Right. I think old Sean McDermott would kick that field goal. I really, really do. And we saw an evolution of our head coach have the balls to put the ball in Josh's hand, and Josh just absolutely just takes the thing and it just takes over. He takes control. He runs about 20 plus yards, breaks 4 missed tackles, and hit as he went to the end zone. Just unfucking believable. Just so much fun to watch. We just put Jake was over. Jake was up. We had just put the baby down for sleep, and we screamed our heads off.
Oh my God. Wait, I gotta ask. How was Katie after that?
She was also excited because she was rooting for the Bills at this point. Well, she was rooting for the Chiefs.
I was going to say,
really what it was.
She made it clear. She wasn't cheering for the Bills. She was cheering against the Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs. Yeah, totally.
A distinction without a difference.
Yeah, I can accept that from a Patriots fan. I just had to ask how Katie was after that.
Yeah. So I mean, just so fucking cool, right, Nigel? Like,
yeah, dude. I know Lamar Jackson is the big running quarterback in the league, and let's not pretend that as far as a player with agility, he is not more dynamic than Josh Allen, because he is. That being said, dude, holy shit, man, Josh Allen gets going. It looks like a Clydesdale. I mean, I don't know. I mean, dude, okay, so like we saw him.
Would you say a buffalo?
Ooh, perhaps a bison, Tom?
Or a moose?
It's just, dude, like once he gets going, and like here's the thing, bro. I feel like I'm trying to understand how Josh Allen just keeps running by dudes, because that's what we keep seeing happen, dude. And the only thing I can think of, I wonder if like when you're watching him run, it's almost misleading in a way, dude. Like I'm wondering if, because he doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but dude, his strides, I mean, at 6'5", over 6'5", almost 6'6", dude. I mean, his strides have got to be deceptively long. I think that's part of it, dude. But then add into that, I mean, bro, we watched Nick Bolton, who was right around 250 pounds and a thumping linebacker, not a linebacker that's going to thrive in coverage, but a downhill will bust your face mask linebacker. I watched Nick Bolton bounce off of Josh Allen, dude. And I mean, literally, like Josh Allen took a fraction of a step to his right when he hit him and kept going, dude. It was astounding. My voice this morning wasn't even working, dude. My roommate never watching the game. He's a Steelers fan. He jumped up and gave me a hug, dude. It was just unbelievable, dude. There are 2 quarterbacks in the NFL that could have made that play. One of them is Lamar Jackson. And I think even Lamar Jackson, instead of just running straight the way Josh Allen did, probably twinkle toes his way around.
It would look different. Yes.
It would look different. Maybe he gets the touchdown. Maybe he doesn't, dude. But my God, to do that against the Chiefs, it's only November, right? And I know Chiefs fans are, oh, it's the Bills Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. Lick my ass, dude. It's an awesome win against the best team in the league, like it or not, right? And just for Josh Allen to do that at home on 4th and 2, you talked about the evolution of Sean McDermott. He said in his post-game press conference that, those were the options. And I didn't want to give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid the football to go and win the game. And that is the correct thing to do. It's the same thing that we didn't do against Tom Brady for 100 years, right? We always would have kicked that field goal, gone up by 5, and then sat there on our couches like this, hoping that we would have started it out. And did we ever? No. I'm super proud of Sean McDermott for trusting probably the second best player in the NFL. I still not ready to take that crown off of Pat Mahomes' head yet.
Better yesterday.
He was better yesterday. He was better yesterday. But the hardware speaks for itself, and I'm not ready to dethrone Patrick Mahomes just yet. But man, oh man, for Josh Allen to do what he did yesterday on that 4th and 2, man, he's just built different. He's just wired a different way, dude. There's no other quarterback that's not choosing to make business decisions there. And Josh Allen said, fuck it, we ball. And I said it in the text thread, dude. My thing was, go be great. And 17 said, fuck it, dude. I'm going to go be great.
He made 5 business decisions by running through 5 Chiefs players, I thought.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Talk about it. Or lack thereof.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just boom. Just goes after it.
Dude.
So Next Gen Stats is one of the 18,000 different stat suites that work on the NFL, but they grade plays as they get developing things, and Josh had a 1.2% chance of scoring once he tucked the ball and ran. 1.2. And I think they should have they need a multiplier for Josh Allen to saying, hey, I think it's a little bit higher than that. But
yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Incredible.
One last thought on that before we move on. I am really proud of McDermott because it wasn't even just that was a decision he made last night during the game. He said in his press conference, like that was the plan all week. That was the discussion. If we get into this situation, we're closing the game. So knowing that hey, as a team, they are taking this mindset, that's a different approach than they've taken in the past, and I'm so stoked about it.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I think too, like, and this is easy to say right now because we won, but I would have rather lost that game, missing that 4th down conversion and having Pat Mahomes go down and score than us kicking the field goal and then watching them go down and score. Like truly, I would infinitely 100 times out of 100 go down swinging than just, take the weak way out and say, okay, now the defense was playing really well yesterday. I don't know how much I really could have faulted Sean McDermott for choosing that route. But all that being said, dude, we've seen the Chiefs actually this season, 7 of their games this season, 4th quarter comebacks. That was a stat that was dropped on the broadcast yesterday. So for us to see that and say, fuck it, we're going to put the needle in this, just awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And it wasn't 4th and 12, it was 4th and 2. If Josh Allen got 3 yards, we'd still be talking about how the drive continued. He just put an exclamation point on it, or maybe 5, and then push the game over the brink. So
yeah, dude.
Yeah, awesome decision.
Tom, what else?
With that touchdown, he actually ended up tying Jim Kelly for most total touchdowns in team history. Did you know?
That is so incredible, dude. I mean, now
imagine where the line's going to be. Imagine where once Josh Allen is, and hopefully it's in 30 years because we had a miracle drug and he can play forever. Imagine where that number is going to be.
Yeah. So now there's one thing there's one thing to remember there, and that is that we're talking about total touchdowns here. Now, Jim Kelly was not the mobile quarterback that Josh Allen is. I don't know off the top of my head how many rushing touchdowns Jim Kelly had. It wasn't that many. Right?
11. I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
11.
Probably total ever,
Yeah.
like something like that. So, there's a layer to remember there, and we are not sitting here saying that, and I say yet because I think it'll eventually happen. We're not sitting here saying that Josh Allen is, the more dominant passer than Jim Kelly, but, for him to contribute all those touchdowns, excuse me, the way that he has, to be right there with Jim, absolutely astounding.
Super cool.
I've got 7 rushing touchdowns for Jim Kelly in his career.
7? Wow.
So 237 passing. Yep.
Shit.
Do we know where 17 is right now with passing touchdowns as well in his career?
Well,
While you're
he's
producing
at
there, Jake?
57 rushing touchdowns or something like that. So we can quickly do the math. I'll let Jake do the.
I can't.
the accountant do it.
I can't quickly do it.
He's got 185 passing touchdowns in his career,
Yeah.
58 rushing.
Okay, so
That's
158.
my man.
He's gonna. Let's see.
Oh, and for those adding those up, that is one short. He has 1 receiving touchdown as well.
Hey.
If we remember back to 2020.
Yep. We did the Buffalo special there. Yeah, dude. I would say I think Josh Allen's 27, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke the passing touchdown record before he was 30.
Yeah.
Or by the time he's 30.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
So I think let's have some fun. What else did you like about this game, pals? Jake, you take your first stab at the pinata, buddy.
I'll take one. Let's continue. We're definitely going to talk about the defense, but continuing on the offense, somebody that started slow to the year didn't really make any splashes, didn't look visible on the field sometimes, but Curtis Samuel has stepped up. I thought he was very noticeable against the Colts and continued here against the Chiefs. 5 for 6 for 58 yards and put a touchdown in, a crucial touchdown at a crucial moment. So, just wanted to shout him out and say that I think he's been stepping up, especially with other receivers out.
I think those injuries he suffered preseason were really, and I think he came to us with an injury too. So I think he was just getting settled in with the team and recovering from an injury. And it's so cool to see him step up. He was elusive yesterday.
He was. Yeah. And crucial for him to step up in a game where you're missing Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid. You're missing arguably 2, maybe right now. Oh no, because Khalil Shakir. But so not including Khalil Shakir, your 2 top weapons. I would say right now the top 3 weapons in that offense, passing at least, Shakir, Kincaid, Keon Coleman, right? You were down 2 of those guys. So for Curtis Samuel to step up the way he did, sensational, dude.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Bro, the defensive line in particular, bro. What has been the knock against the Bills defense against Patrick Mahomes since he's been Patrick Mahomes? It is that we can't pressure him enough, dude. Can't rush him at all. Well, how do you do, buddy? Might not be the exact sack numbers that we would all love to see in a perfect world, but boy, oh boy, that man was running for his damn life several times yesterday. I got to give a shout out to Ed Oliver against what is probably the best interior 3 in terms of an offensive line in the NFL. And I don't think that's really like a hot take. I think that's a pretty widely accepted opinion about the Chiefs. Somehow Ed Oliver decided to make that game his best game of the season, or at least for my money, what I saw was his best game of the season. He was in the backfield a lot, dude. And then I felt like I watched our defensive ends finally beat up on those tackles for Kansas City, dude. And, maybe I wouldn't be shocked if somebody was like, yeah, that was the difference. I'd be like, probably was. That probably was the difference between us winning and us losing that game, because we still saw some great moments from Patrick Mahomes. Those touchdown passes to Noah Gray, particularly that second one. It's probably only one other quarterback that can make that throw, and his name's Josh Allen. He's the guy on the other team last night. That was an absolute seed while on the run to the back of the end zone. So, Pat was still doing Pat things yesterday, dude. But, I think the defensive line got there just enough to be the difference maker, dude. So, God, please don't let this be the one game where we get to him. You're going to have to do it again in December. You're just going to have to. And there's no 2 ways about that. I'll knock on wood, but I think we're all ready to assume that the Bills are probably going to play the Chiefs again.
Yeah. I agree.
Go ahead, Jake.
Those players on the D-line, they just none of them are Max Crosby, Chris Jones level, but they just seem to work together really well and create pressure from their cohesiveness.
Yeah, dude. And that's
there was a couple plays where like Groot like forced Pat Mahomes to have to step up into the pocket right into the arms of Von Miller for his sack. Like there was lots of times when they caged rush him is really what it's called, where instead of just like pushing him one way and just letting him roll out, which just like Josh Allen, Josh and Pat are more than happy to just roll out and play in space. But if you can keep them where they're at and have to play within the pocket, you can eventually get them because you can just compress them like a boa constrictor and just get there.
Exactly.
This is where the D-line made their presence known. They knocked on the door and said, "Hello, welcome to Buffalo. We're gonna make this happen."
And the huge thing to piggyback off of that, what you just said, Tom, because you're absolutely right, that compression move from the defensive line there, that's a idea that is meant to be complementary, right? It's not meant for one guy to just be the game wrecker. But when you're talking about a quarterback like Pat Mahomes, who can wreck you with his feet, man, that ability to keep him within the pocket, I just have to. I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it must be as a defensive lineman, particularly an edge rusher, to not get really far up the field, right? The gap integrity from the defensive line and the linebackers yesterday was absolutely phenomenal. And without that gap integrity, that cage style, rush doesn't happen, dude. You don't lock him up without that gap integrity. And that is nothing short of outstanding discipline from the front seven, dude.
Yeah, just absolutely, just crushing. And you're right. Like Mahomes played well, right? He had some drives where he diced. They moved the ball. There was that one drive where Xavier Worthy basically touched the ball every single game, every single throw, every single snap. I'm sure they were just trying to parade Xavier Worthy kind of in front of us there. I'm sure that's what that was all about.
Had to be a little bit, right?
I think so. But then guess what? I don't think he had another touch after that drive. I don't think he touched the ball again. So I'm sure have fun with Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
But they held this Chiefs to a season low 259 yards of total offense, which is a big deal. And yeah, just and also force some havoc plays, right? Interception on the first drive and an interception at the end of the game. Like that's big, and that changes the game and tips the scales in the Bills' direction. And they showed up. It was awesome to see them just play their brains out.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Absolutely. Well said, Tom. Defense all around yesterday. Just nothing short of badass, dude.
I was really excited to see Chris Jones kind of have a little bit of a quiet game. He affected he definitely got his paws on Josh once or twice. Josh was not sacked at all though. But I think that is a tip of the hat to O'Cyrus Torrence, our second year right guard. The guy played a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Just his ability to anchor, play with strength, that's his game. He's a big dude, super strong, can handle and not be pushed off his spot. And Chris Jones was kind of mitigated with that, right? He was able to hold him off and really stop Chris Jones, who is a certifiable game wrecker, and has ruined our Piston our Cheerios more than once. Like it was cool to see O'Cyrus have a game against that. It was awesome. O'Cyrus, excuse me.
He also missing an offensive lineman too. I thought that's Ryan Vandermark did a great job subbing in, but still, it's not the usual guy that's in the trenches with you. So I imagine that creates a little more stress and just uncertainty.
But a great point.
Yeah,
yes,
clearly didn't throw him off too much at all.
Yeah, dude. I was honestly, and not for nothing, man. And I'm disappointed in myself for this. I didn't really notice Cybo having the game that he did. Cybo being O'Cyrus Torrence, didn't see him having the game that. Some of the film later showed today, dude, man, like, because I would not put O'Cyrus Torrence in the category of a super athletic offensive lineman, certainly not to the level of athleticism that, oh my God, Jesus, what the hell's his name?
Chris Jones?
Tackle. Thank you, Chris Jones. Yeah, I know. End of the day, I clocked out of work 2 minutes before hopping on the podcast here. Bear with me. Yeah, dude, like you said, Tom, certified game wrecker, Chris Jones. But I mean, dude, let's look at the physiology for a second here. Cybo's ass is 4 feet wide, dude. I mean, the base on that guy. I mean, once he gets set, he's difficult to get around, dude. I mean, he's so big. Yeah. He's
so strong
and so strong, dude, particularly in his hips and his leverage, dude. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you were seeing clips of, Chris Jones hit him with some speed and some ferocity. And yes, Saibo might take a step back a little bit, dude. But 9 times out of 10, Chris Jones hits an offensive guard with that kind of speed and power, and they're on their back, dude. And Saibo was able to absorb so much of it, man. Considering the level that Chris Jones is, and the fact that Saibo is as early in his career as he is, for him to even if it wasn't the entire game, for him to have the amount of reps, which was 3 minutes worth of clips, courtesy of Brian Baldinger on X, just about 3 minutes worth of clips back to back of him straight up handling Chris Jones, dude. And that is sensational. No two ways about it.
Right, he can now parlay this into the next game and when he's playing other big D tackles, because that's the D lines that can come in and wreck games in the playoffs. And for Torrence to have this experience here is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about these? Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to ask about the run game because it sputtered often. I know James Cook had 2 touchdowns, but it seemed like he had a hard time getting things going. And same with the other 2 running backs. The play on the 3rd and 2 before the 4th and 2 hero run. It just seemed like they had a tough time getting going. I know we talked about the Chiefs' run defense being really stout. Talk to me about what you saw. What do you think stuffed them up?
It's that run defense that's their bread and butter. Is the Chiefs' run defense is just a brick wall, like so good. I was not expecting the Buffalo Bills running backs to be very productive yesterday. I am very glad that they were able to punch it in when they did. Right, James Cook still had two rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen had 1. Right, so we were able to punch through when we needed to. But I think you can chalk it up to the Chiefs' defense. That's their bread and butter. That's how they win games, is they force you out of a run game. So I think that's one side of it. For the other side of it, for me, is I was a little frustrated with their continued usage of run plays on 1st and 10. I do kind of if you look at the amount of time that the Bills had the ball, the amount of times the Chiefs had the ball, I think these runs contributed to that we had some game control, some clock control. And I'm sure that helped, but man, it was frustrating when every time you see these little tight bunch sets and the Bills try and just run it up the gut, inside zones and things like that, and just not go anywhere. The repeated use of that was frustrating to me.
Yeah, totally. I think I said it in our group text yesterday. We're blessed that the Bills came out with a dub, dude, because I should have had the numbers on this, but the amount of 3rd and long conversions that we had yesterday, more than any team should have to be in. We were in way too many of those situations. B, converted way more than I would have expected us to. I mean, several 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 11. So that's a really, really, really difficult way to win a football game. We were not as productive as we needed to be on 1st and 2nd down yesterday. And yes, the running game was not as productive as we would have liked for it to be, because I think what's really important for this Bills offense is the fact that Joe Brady has married so many of the passing and running plays in the same formation, right? So I saw some people being like, get out of the condensed formations and stuff like that. And I hesitate to say that or to agree with that, because that's what I feel like has made the Bills, or at least part of what has made them successful on offense this year, is formations don't give anything away, right? We run running plays, passing plays, play action, screens, any of that stuff, all out of the exact same formation with the exact same personnel, right? Which helps to mitigate what defenses can expect based on what they're seeing pre-snap. Right. So I think that's a really, really, really significant thing to bring to the table here. The other thing, man, and I think this is super important. Yes, it wasn't working, but they never gave up on it. They kept Kansas City in a position where, even though it wasn't successful, they had to honor it because we didn't stop.
True.
Right. So I think that's another really important thing to bring to the table here, because if it's not working and you stop, you can just drop everybody into coverage and then it's over.
You're playing the game they want us to.
Exactly. But if you keep hammering it, and to their credit, dude, or maybe not to their credit, I mean, we kept fucking running to Chris Jones,
Yeah.
You know, like we made them honor the run, which, you know, did we get a lot on the ground from it? No, but I think there's something to be said for keeping that in their back of their mind. Like, this team is going to keep coming at us on the ground.
Yeah.
So you know, tough to really say that it was totally unsuccessful, because I think the threat of passing out of those same running formations helps this offense. And, you know, they were never able to get out of a mentality where they had to honor that run.
I also think that it was also based on what the Chiefs were giving us. I think there was a lot of too high safety looks that Josh Allen gets to the line. It's a run play called, a pass play called, and it's not going to set up the look that Josh is getting isn't going to be something that's successful for that play. So he actually checked in to a bunch of these runs, but it's based on what the Chiefs were giving us. They were giving us maybe net lighter boxes. I'm not sure of that, so I need to go check and watch the tape here. But I know that there was a bunch of too high safety looks that Josh Allen checked into run plays
almost exclusively, pal.
And that
the too high safety was
right. And that's the rule, right? That this offense has rules that Josh Allen follows of, hey, if we see this coverage, we're not gonna attempt this type of play. We're gonna check into this type of play. And Josh Allen was just playing his game and not following down the rabbit hole of, hey, wait a second, I can try something different or do exactly what the Chiefs are trying to bait them into doing. So. As frustrating as it was, looking back, I'm thinking that's kind of their approach. So I think it was good that they were not baited into doing things not the Bills way, and that was good. Yeah,
absolutely. Keep us rolling, Tom.
I think we there is a little bit of bad and ugly to that game because it's really nice the fact that the Bills are not playing their best ball yet, right? There's still lots of games to be played and hopefully some postseason games. The Bills aren't firing on all cylinders. Josh had an ugly interception, which was made worse by a big return. I still think it was a miscommunication by him and Dawson. He expected Dawson to kind of bounce out into more of a post kind of route, and Dawson didn't. He either got tied up by the defender or was going to turn around and kind of just do a little curl. And then it just turned into a big interception with a return. So that was essentially giving the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs a short field, which was not ideal. So I don't love that. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, the INT was super ugly, and for my own mental health, I also want to agree that it was a miscommunication, because initially, dude, and I think I said this to you guys last night too. Initially, man, it looked to me like Josh was just trying to throw it away and got lazy with it, right? And like didn't respect that defender enough to, was like, oh, he's not going to make the play, and just dumped it, and then it was a INT for a big return. Looking at it again, I do think that it was a miscommunication between him and Dawson Knox, which I don't know, man. I mean, 10 weeks into the season, those two have been playing together for several years now. I don't even really like giving them a pass on that. I mean, I can't find a good reason, a good excuse that Josh Allen and Dawson Knox should be having miscommunications anymore.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that just can't happen. So, I don't know whose fault it was. Luckily, it doesn't look too ugly because we won the game. But I mean, could have been a different ball game,
Could have, yeah.
I mean, that defender breaks 2 tackles. That's a pick 6. So really ugly there in that moment. But it happens. The injuries, did we talk about the couple injuries that happened?
Scares, at least. Yeah, I don't think we had confirmed. Yeah.
No, and I think they're completely fine. Dawson Knox got poked in the eye. I don't know if he scratched his cornea or whatever, but he came back in, had another catch. I think he's all good. Same with Dion. He just got his ankle taped up and came back in. I imagine he's going to be fine too. They'll both, at least I would imagine Dion will probably spend most of, if not the entire week, limited. He might not even practice this week if it's banged up.
We're going to the bye too, right? So he's
yeah. I forgot about that. So I think I'm not worried about those two even a little bit. To be totally honest with you, dude, I'm expecting everybody that's been out and matters, including number 58, Matthew Milano, to be back in for the 49ers game that is 2 weeks from tomorrow or yesterday, excuse me.
Yeah. Before we roll into the kind of the rest of the season stuff, I think this is a big signature win. And like Nigel said at the beginning, I don't think us as Bills fans, let's not write this off. I know I even was quoted. I was probably on here this podcast talking into this very microphone saying, "Hey, this is not an important one. I don't really care." It's still cool, right? We're we're in this space where in our lifetimes we're watching Josh Allen make plays like this in Buffalo for a crowd like that, where they're all, they're singing the Killers in the fourth quarter, and like it's just so cool, right? And we have to soak this in, right? This is not going to be forever. This is not right, and we have to just enjoy this. 9-2. It hasn't happened since before we were born, boys. Like, right? That's a big fucking deal. It is so cool.
This is the first time that the Bills have ever beat a team that was better than 6-0. Their record to date is 0-8 in those games.
Okay.
Wow, really?
Wow. All right.
Nice stat there, Jake. Oh, I like that. Yeah, dude. Wow. I didn't take a second to realize that because I did it in my head like, 1992. Cool. My ass wasn't even born, dude.
Well, 93. Well, so maybe we were. Maybe it was the season. I didn't.
No. Because I think the last time we were 9-2. I don't think we were 9-2 in 93. I think it was 92 if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
that's crazy, right? So we don't let this. This is not our Super Bowl. There is bigger games to play. There is more to do, but to enjoy this, right? Yeah. I'm gonna wear my Victory Monday shirt tomorrow. Like,
dude, it's
soak it in.
The life cycle, and every team goes through the life cycle, dude. And right now, we're at the fun part of our life cycle. But yeah, as we all know, shit is temporary, and we'll say no more than that. So I do think, while it can't be our Super Bowl, and we can't absolutely lose our minds over it, I do think you're absolutely right, Tom. Don't forget to take a moment, folks, and enjoy the fact that Joshua Patrick Allen is the quarterback for your team, and you get to root for him and laugh at everybody else who bitches about him. Because that was not always our life as Bills fans.
Not. No,
especially
it was not.
For us who grew up watching Tom Brady just fucking kick our ass 2 times a year, every year.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. So
one more quick thing here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if I didn't give the old salute to Khalil Shakir, my guy, dude. Oh my God, the yards after catch, the putting the body on the line to make the play, dude. The trust that Josh Allen has. I mean, dude, I would run through an absolute wall for Khalil Shakir, dude. That 3rd and long completion or reception that he had, where he got hit pretty hard,
annihilated in the kidney.
It hurt my kidneys.
Yeah,
and he rolled around for a second, dude, but he got right back up. I think he missed 2 plays and was back in. So Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah, he's just so sure-handed. And just when he has the ball in his hand, like he's a freaking pinball out there. I love it. It's so cool. Like it's like, as a little kids, did you guys ever have those little like Velcro balls and Velcro boards where you threw the ball at the board? That must be what Josh feels like when he throws it at Khalil Shakir. Just like, I know this is gonna stick. I know this is coming down with it, and we're good. He's going to.
Yeah. It's just got to feel good mentally as a quarterback to know that when you throw the ball to somebody, there's a 99.9% chance they're going to catch it.
Yeah, he's not fucking with it. Yeah. So we next week is the Bills bye week. So no Bills next weekend. Everybody gets to have a nice relaxing weekend of watching some NFL football. But I think, and I'm sure next week we'll kind of have some different conversations of mid-season check-ins. Just for right now, is there any prevailing thoughts on your brains of, hey, looking forward, what are some things you're excited about? What things that we should keep in mind? Like, I'm gonna kind of open bag here, of any thoughts, kind of pushing into the end of the season here, second half.
Jake, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I guess just keep playing like they're playing. I mean, keep looking better and better. Push to the playoffs. I mean, they're more than likely going to lock up the division. So get ready for January.
With that, which is a little bit of math for you folks, the Bills can clinch the AFC East with any combination of the number 2. Okay, it's just 2. All you need to do is count to 2. Either 2 losses for the Miami Dolphins or 2 more wins for the Bills, and that clinches the division. That's some New England Patriot shit from when we were little boys. Like that shit. We could go into Thanksgiving wearing our AFC East division champs shit, right?
I can't believe that it is. What is it? Week 11?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's week 11, and we're talking about the ways that we can clinch the division. That's some major.
Yeah.
I can't help but laugh a little bit. That's awesome.
That's a hey, F you Jets fans, F you Miami fans.
And that's why I'm laughing, dude, because those sons of bitches were so insufferable for so long, and you all are such ass, dude. You're so bad. You're so fucking bad. The Jets in particular, y'all suck so much. God. Oh, you're so bad.
Do you guys remember who was voted the most overrated player in the NFL?
I'll take
remember?
Josh Allen for 5. What is Josh Allen for 500?
Yeah. And do you want to know who's now has the highest odds to win MVP?
What is Josh Allen for 400?
Exactly. Yeah.
God, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm excited to kind of pushing into the end of the season here is I think Nigel nailed it a second ago. We're getting some players back too, right? Coming out of this bye, we're gonna get healthy. Let's stay healthy. That's been a big issue. We limp into the playoffs the last 2 seasons with AJ Klein coming in at linebacker, right? With Terrell Bernard can't play, Matt Milano's out. Like we gotta get into the playoffs as healthy as possible. And at this point, having a little bit of a lead in the division, that maybe we're going to see the Bills be a little bit more kind of reserved with some injuries. Maybe players might sit out an additional week more than they would have if we don't, necessarily need to fight for it as much. I don't know. So, but anyway, whatever we do, get healthy and going into January.
Yeah.
I guess my prevailing thing looking forward, dude. The big one for me, dude, it is dependent on Curtis Samuel keeping up what he's done, what I feel like in the last 2 weeks, right? Are we seeing a mirage of Curtis Samuel, being effective, or is he coming into his own? And now here's the thing to remember, dude. Obviously, you get Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman back. You add a contributing Curtis Samuel to that with the way we're seeing Josh Allen play right now, which is on elite point guard, just distributing the ball to where it needs to go. You add it back in a Dalton Kincaid and a Keon Coleman, who, I mean, when their number's been called, they've been very solid for the season. I'm not going to say perfect, but very solid. And you add into that the rushing game that's been great all year. And then you add into that an emerging Curtis Samuel that is starting to find his ways to contribute. Whoo, man. I think if you can marry all that offensively, I mean, watch out.
I thought Josh Allen was going to struggle because Stephon Diggs was gone, though.
Fuck, that's right. I forgot, dude. That's right. I completely
Pack it
forgot.
up.
My bad.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Should we just trade him? Let's trade him.
Anybody want to go? We should just go on vacation. Everybody should just, throw the towel.
What? Take 3 bye weeks, Buffalo. We could do that and we'd still win the goddamn division.
Yeah, because oh shit. Anyway. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, so we'll be back next week with more Bill stuff. But for now, we got some Sabres things to talk about.
Oh, do we have to?
We sure do, Nigel. Come on.
Good week, folks. Adios.
I can't wait for this feeling in the podcast to change. Do you guys think we'll get to a spot where it's fun to talk about both?
I hope so.
Do you think we ever will get that?
You brought up a good point that we think there's some curse going on where if the Bills are good, the Sabres are bad, and vice versa.
It's like one of them has to die, dude, for the other one to live.
And don't get me wrong, both can be bad. It's not tied directly.
Also true.
But,
all right,
since we last talked, there's been 2 games: the comeback win over St. Louis, 4-3 at home, and then an ugly loss that we'll get into a little bit against the Flyers on the road Saturday night. They lost 5-2. I think 5-2 is generous given how they played. Yeah, we'll get into that game in a bit. But first, some newsy items. Couple of roster moves. So the first one that we haven't talked about is James Reimer got reclaimed from Anaheim. So backup goalie coming back to Buffalo. Corresponding move to go with that is Devin Levi was sent down to Rochester today. Much needed playing time. Nigel, are you on board with that, or you wish he was up?
Nope, I'm totally on board with it, dude. Here, the bottom line is Devin, and I'm also not going to sit here and say that the defensive play in front of Devin Levi has been outstanding, because it has not been. That being said, I don't think Devin Levi has looked good this season in Buffalo. And I don't know if that is just because he's maybe, just maybe not there confidence-wise, or, tie into that the defense hasn't been playing awesome in front of him. There could be a lot of factors. I think the biggest thing that I don't like right now with Devin Levi is he's played like 3 games in the last 26 days or something like that. And when you've got a young guy that is developing, for the plans that I feel like we have for Devin Levi, I want him to be playing, dude. And honestly, I would rather see him down in Rochester play 60 games or whatever down there than be playing, once, couple times a month up in Buffalo. I mean, right now it's not a tandem situation. UPL is the unquestioned number 1 goalie. And Devin's gotten the last couple starts because UPL's been hurt, but it's not a long-term injury that UPL has. He might even be good to go Wednesday, last I checked. So I want Devin to be playing. I want him to get the reps, dude. I am massively in favor of this move. Keep riding UPL, because I think UPL's looked good.
Yeah, agreed. He's not looked great. I agree with that. I don't think he's looked awful, but playing time is the magic phrase there. And it's not all his fault. The defensive giveaways, particularly in the past couple of games, have been atrocious. But with that said, it's the same defense that's playing in front of UPL. I imagine the effort of the team, the structure of the team is not changing drastically between who's in net and who's not. I think you could make that argument with the Sabres in the past. I think like Eric Comrie got left out to dry sometimes, and he did himself no favors after that. But still, it's the same team. Both goalies, there's a difference between the two, and UPL is just clearly in the lead right now. So get Devin some playing time.
Absolutely. And James Reimer is what he is. Everyone and their mother knows that James Reimer is a backup. That's all he ever has been. It's all he will ever be. So in this role, which has been Devin's, playing a couple times a month, I'm fine with James Reimer in that spot.
And he's used to playing in front of atrocious defenses, playing with Anaheim for a month.
That's
so
right.
He's warm. He's ready.
Yeah, he actually this might be a massive improvement. Maybe not weather-wise. I'm sure he'd probably rather live in Anaheim, California than Buffalo, New York, but sucks to suck, buddy. You don't get a choice.
Yep. You signed on the dotted line.
That's right.
Some other injury news. I agree. I heard the same thing. I think UPL will be back ready to play Wednesday night against the Kings. A couple other injuries, though. The bug's going around a little bit. Tage Thompson's been out the past couple of games, and boy, does it show. He should be back on Wednesday, but it's not a guarantee. But he came out and said if Saturday night was a playoff game, what are those? He would have played. So we gotta have some fun during this segment, right?
Yeah, we have to laugh at our own misery.
Yeah. So I think it's all but guaranteed that he plays. Tage Thompson also dealt with a bit of an injury. He played Saturday against the Flyers, tweaked something, is questionable for Wednesday. He's been terrific, so that'd be another huge loss if he's out.
Real quick, Jake, that's Alex Tuck you're talking about there. You said Tage Thompson. I think you meant Alex Tuck.
Oh my God, I read Tate. I almost did it again. I read Alex Tuck. The wires are crossing.
Right.
Alex Tuck. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yep. Gotcha.
Jordan Greenway also down. He's week to week. He didn't play. He hurt himself against St. Louis. Didn't play Saturday. Initially day to day, and he got downgraded to week. And he's had a great year. I thought he's looked really good. So that's a tough one to lose for an extended period of time.
Yep.
Any of those you want to hit on or expand on, Nige?
I don't imagine, and I'm actually, as I'm talking, I'm trying to see if there's any updates on Alex Tuck, because I did not get the impression that his injury was very serious. But let's see. Paul Hamilton, as of 7 hours ago, I asked Alex Tuck, and he said he's going to be fine for the trip. So I'd imagine Tucky's going to be absolutely fine, which is great because he's been awesome. My heart breaks a little bit for Jordan Greenway, dude. After the shit that I gave him last season, he really has started off and looked what I would say is fucking awesome this year. Just playing the way that I would like to see a guy that is built like that and skates like that. He's flying around, dude. He's banging into everybody. he's looking like a skilled player, right? Not just a wrecking ball, but still using that size and speed to his advantage as he should, because it's what is going to make him a super effective NHL player. At least I think so. And it seems he's kind of leaned into that. I don't know if Lindy just managed to push the right buttons or said the right things, but Jordan Greenway has been awesome. Feel bad for him that he's hurt right now, but if it's just week to week, hopefully it's not more than 2. That'll be, 5 to 6 games that he'll miss, and that shouldn't be what makes or breaks the season. Obviously, with the Sabres, it could be a situation where we are a point or 2 out of the playoffs, and maybe those games will have mattered more. But sad for Jordan Greenway, but hopefully doesn't, end up being the thing that keeps this team from making the playoffs. But feel bad for him, hoping that he can come back from injury and look the same.
Yeah, agreed. The points maybe aren't piling up for him, but he's looked like a different player this year than last, I think. And he's somebody, he is good at getting to high danger areas. He crashes the net with, he's massive. He's a big guy and he plays like it. So I think that's invaluable. He's not Tage Thompson that can score from a distance,
Right. No, but I think his play beneath the goal line is like down in the corners and stuff, dude. He comes up, it feels like he's been coming up with almost every puck. He's just battling his absolute bag off, dude. So
yeah, notable absence.
Mm-hmm.
So to combat those, Sabres made some moves. Saturday they called up Jiri Kulik and he got in against Philly. And today they called up Isak Rosen from Rochester as well to make the trip with them. I doubt he gets in if everybody's healthy for Wednesday, but
I would be 0% surprised if we maybe sat like a Nick Aube-Kubel for Itzhak Rosen. I think we talked a little bit about Rosen at the beginning of the year. Is this? Are we at the point with Rosen where it's this year or fuck it?
It's close. Yeah, he's 21. Got drafted in 2021.
He's so young.
It's still young, yeah. But he's putting up numbers in the AHL. He has for the past couple of years. He's got 13 points in 14 games with them this year. I think it's getting close to, can you make the leap? And if not, what are we going to do with you?
Yeah. And I guess I feel shitty saying this, and I should have learned my lesson because somebody, I don't know if I ever told you guys this. When Tage Thompson had his big breakout, somebody in the hockey content creation world took a bunch of tweets of people saying he was a bust. Guess who was featured in that TikTok video? It was me. I don't know if I told you guys that. So
that's
somebody
I did not know
roasted me for saying Tage Thompson was a bust. So I don't tweet about those anymore because I'm afraid of getting busted again. But and I don't want to, but I'm hesitant to not say the same about Itzhak Rosen, especially because he doesn't even he doesn't have that Tage Thompson potential, right? That insane skill to be able to, stick handle in a phone booth at the height of 6'6". He doesn't have that potential. At least I don't think so. So, I need something from Rosen to, like you said, figure out what the hell are we going to do with you?
Yeah, agreed. And by no means are we saying, if he doesn't make the jump this year, then we cut ties. I'm saying this is a good trade chip. He is a good young player that can put up in the AHL with if you trade him to a team that has more of an opportunity at forward, I think he very well could stick in the NHL. But
yeah,
I just don't see him. He hasn't gelled and fit into the top 6, and that's really where he should be playing. He's not a defensive grinder. He's a more skilled player. Player on the wing. Yeah, that's where he should be. So. And we very well could be wrong. Maybe we're not patient enough. Who knows? But I'd like to see him do a little bit more when he does get opportunities in the NHL.
100%.
All right, let's keep it moving. I think that's all the newsy things there. But let's talk about that Flyers game a little bit. We got to dissect it because it was one of the more ugly ones. And we talked about the Montreal game last week, Tom and I, and this Philly game kind of ties into it. Of 2 of the last 3 games looking flat, looking awful in the defensive zone, terrible turnovers that lead directly to scoring chances that get capitalized on. It was just a nightmare game on Saturday night. So Tom, your first Sabres game to watch in completion this year was a real rough one.
You had a good suggestion there, pal. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. I've been catching the highlights. I've been catching parts of games. I've been trying to watch as many game recaps as possible just to really start learning. But this was my first full game. The big thing that I took away from it, it just felt like the Sabres were flat. They did not come out ready to play. And I don't necessarily think that the Flyers were playing out of their minds. I just think that they took advantage of the Sabres' mistakes and capitalized and got goals on them, while the Sabres didn't do the same. They couldn't get out of their own fucking way. So that's what I was seeing, is I wasn't seeing the Flyers necessarily out playing them, head over heels, but I think they just played more cleanly and more efficiently.
There's one name that comes to mind for me. I'm sure you're thinking the same name, Nigel, but John Tortorella coached team. That's a trademark there. Skill. Fuck skill. You're coming out hard to play against, and that's the Flyers' identity that he's built there.
100%, and that is, I mean, you're absolutely right. The Tortorella staple, dude. I mean, yeah, because there's very few guys on that team that are crazy skilled guys. Now, I think Michkov is going to be an absolute problem in this league, dude. He looks crazy good. Shout out Danny Briere, dude, for not worrying about, because the whole thing with Michkov in his draft year was, when the hell is he going to be able to get over here? He's under contract with a team in Russia, playing in the KHL. Is it going to be 5 years before we can see him? I think he only spent
a
1 year over there.
Situation.
Exactly. I think he only spent 1 year over there and then was in the NHL. Am I right on that, Jake? Yeah.
You're correct.
So, 110% worth it. Watching your guy develop in the KHL and absolutely destroy the KHL. Shout out Danny Briere for not being afraid of that thing, because he got, that was a pretty late pick considering the skill level.
I think he went 7th. Yeah.
Should have gone.
But
he's a top
skill wise. The only reason he wouldn't have gone 1 is someone named Connor Bedard. And rightly so. Yeah.
Right. Totally.
And Danny Briere, no fear, but also he had the inside track. Michkov wanted to play in specific markets, is what people have said, and Philly was one of them. So Briere knew picking him that he had a good chance of getting him over sooner than elsewhere. And Briere also has been bringing over a lot of Russian players. He helped a couple of players get out of Russia and get over to the AHL or NHL. So he's got some secret magic.
He's got the connects over there. He's just got a tunnel underneath the ocean, dude. Just bring it over. Yeah, dude. You're right. Tortorella, just those. You have to know those guys are going to come out with their absolute hair on fire. It's just no other way. Nothing else to expect from that team.
And hard forechecking, and that's exactly what they did, and that just doubled down on us not being able to get out of our defensive zone. There was a handful of times where it felt like the puck was stuck behind our net, even though we had possession, and just couldn't break it out into the neutral zone. And I don't know. I think a lot of that is not being ready to use your speed against a team that you are more skilled than the majority of their players, I would say. Troubling there, especially going into a big West Coast trip that we'll get to in a moment here.
Which we're always super good at. We always do really well on the West Coast trips.
Sabres After Dark is not always fun. So
no.
Silver lining to that game, we've lost 2 of our last 6, or said another way, we've won 4 of our last 6, which is that's a good stat. If you do that over the course of a season, you got a good shot at making the playoffs. So the sky isn't falling, but 2 of the last 3 games were real stinkers to watch. Anything else you want to talk about from that Philly game, or should we look ahead a bit?
I would say I want to be able to say just put it behind you and move forward, but how many games? If the season's still early, and how many games have we had like that now that we just want to forget? The Philly game, the Montreal game. There's at least 2 or 3 more.
Absolutely.
But those first 2 games, like in Prague against the Devils.
I was just gonna say,
so there's 4 stinkers right there. But I just want to look competent, man. Like, I'm so sick of these games where we just look like absolute dog shit. It's so
Yeah.
confusing to me. I don't know how you can, from one game to the next, look dominant and then go so far the opposite direction. I get it's a long season. I get there are a ton of games. I get that. I mean, I don't think there's anything more grueling to the human body than an 82 game NHL schedule. I know baseball players have like 180. It's too fucking bad you're standing there for 4 hours. Fucking shut up. So, I mean,
as
football
athletic
games,
as chess players.
like football. Yeah, thank you. Football games. I mean, there's only 17 games. It's one a week. I get that it's a lot for the body to handle and all that stuff, but the disparity in this team for the last several years is so maddening, dude.
Yeah, it's no excuse. Everybody plays the same schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's got back-to-backs and travel time and fucking, hey, just find a way to be more consistent.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that.
I think so. Excusing the two Devils games, because I don't think this is the case of that, but I think a worrying trend over the past couple of years is playing down to the level of competition or up. Like, for example, going into MSG and just shithousing the Rangers, they were fired up for that game. They came out and used their speed and skill to destroy the Rangers, but then they go into Philadelphia and just look flat, outworked, not ready for it. So it's been a couple of coaches. It's been a couple of different sets of players, but it's hard not to put a finger on that and say, wow, they seem to just kind of buckle against teams that are less skilled than them sometimes.
100%.
So with that said, we've got 3 road trip games coming up. West Coast swing next week, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, LA, Anaheim, San Jose. All 3 of those games are winnable games. And in my opinion, the final 2, Anaheim, San Jose, are very winnable games. You need to beat those teams. They are not good. They are toiling towards the bottom of the league. And I'm not trying to bash them, but that's just where they are in their team building cycle. You got to win. Anaheim doesn't have their star goalie yet. San Jose is a dumpster fire pretty much. It's worrying because I think that trend could come up again where the Sabres look like they're playing down to competition and not able to break free and dominate games like that. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but it's nagging doubt in the back of my mind.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. You stung it, dude.
Enough.
I mean, like, yeah, that's what else is there to say? You just hit it on the head.
LA's troubling. I mean, they're still a good team without Drew Doughty, but Anze Kopitar he's trending towards the Joe Pavelski life cycle. He's looking good in his older age.
Boy, is he, dude.
Yeah. So look, some of the teams you're battling, for example, Detroit is on this exact same road trip right now. They're 2 games through and they're 0-2. So take that for what you will. Detroit takes a step back. Maybe if you can go in and win 2 of these 3 games, you put yourself in a good place against a team like that you're battling for a playoff spot for. So go in, take care of business, stay up late with us and watch the games. Go Sabres. I got nothing else. Get us out of here, Tom.
Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for spending some time with us. Please give us a like and a follow on Instagram, X, TikTok, and our YouTube channel at Let's Go Buff Pod. These are my pals, Jake and Nigel. My name is Tom, and you're listening to the Let's Go Buffalo podcast. We're sending you love wherever you are. Go Bills, go Sabres, let's go Buffalo.